then Gandalf the Grey, and Gandalf the White, and Monty Python, and the Holy Grail's Black Knight, and Benito Mussolini, and the Blue Meanie, and Cowboy Curtis, and John B. the Genie, Robocop, the Terminator, Captain Kirk, and Darth Vader, Lopan, Superman, every single Power Ranger, Bill S. Preston, and Theodore Logan, Spock, the Rock, Doc Ock, and Hulk Hogan, all came out of nowhere, lightning fast, and they kicked Chuck Norris in his cowboy ass. It was the bloodiest battle that the world ever saw, with civilians looking on a total law. The fight raged on for a century, many lives were claimed, but eventually the champion stood. The rest saw their better, Mr. Rogers in a bloodstained sweater. This is the ultimate showdown, ultimate destiny, good guys, bad guys, and explosions. As far as the eye can see, and only one will survive. I wonder who it will be. This is the ultimate showdown.
Okay, so Cinder over here doesn't really have a backstory. I think the writers are trying to make her like all mysterious and cool and shit, but she's the worst character in the show, so that doesn't really work. Okay, anyway, so one day Cinder found this immortal chick named Salem, who I'm assuming went, yo, want some power? And then Cindy was like, fuck it, I got nothing better to do. And from that way onward was just a massive cunt to everyone she ever met. She then picked up a spare street urchins and then attacked some full magic chick for her power, but that didn't work out, and she had to infiltrate a high school to get all the powers, becoming the fall magic chick and kill an old dude. Cindy then murdered a cardboard cutout pretending to be a character, and then the protagonist showed up and used her super special anime protagonist powers on her, stopping her from ever being a threat again. Wait, no, unfortunately she didn't die, she just turns into the biggest jobber since Vegeta. After that, all of her teammates are like, bruh, you lost to a 12-year-old, what gives? But then the immortal chick is like, nah bruh, it's fine, she killed my ex. And then she's set out to find the spring magic chick, and this time she's like, yo, let's team up, and the magic chick's boss is like, fuck it, why not? And they go to another high school, but the protagonist, what the fuck, I'm not that drunk, protagonist, and the protagonists are there, and Cindy is almost killed by the fucking Yamcha of the group. After that, she stabs some girl in the back like a little bitch, and then she takes the magic chick and her boss to go get some MacGuffin, but would immediately betray them and kill the magic chick for her power. But then the magic chick's boss would reveal that she was the real spring magic chick and would tell her, nothing personnel, kid, before yeeting her into some lake. She'd unfortunately survived this and ended up almost jobbing to and then teaming up with a mute ice cream midget. Cindy and the midget would then go to Atlas, where she would force the midget to work a minimum wage job to pay for rent, while she sat on her ass for several months until the plot needed her again. Thanks to the midget, she learned that the winter magic chick was old as fuck and was about to die, so she went on to move as fast as she could, while she sent the midget to regain the MacGuffin. She would then fight some girl with daddy issues and a ginger robot before attempting to kill the old magic chick, but the old one had been called a boomer one too many times and created an ice wall, stopping Cindy from getting the powers. The old lady would then have a stroke and would give her powers to the robot, cucking both Cindy and the daddy issues girl at the same time. And then the protagonist showed up again and used her super special anime protagonist powers, but this time Cindy would get the fuck out of Dodge and meet back up with the midget who had actually gotten shit done. And then the season ended on a cliffhanger. Alright, time to move on to Steve. Fuck it, you don't get a transition. Now, before I move on to this character, he's supposed to be a version of a much better character. However, I have too much respect for said character to call him by that name, so instead I will just be using the name of the guy who I ripped off gave him. Oh, I know. Hey, Steve! Yeah, you, Steve, get in here, you son of a bitch. Steve was born to an angel and a demon along with his bullshit brother Bob, and the family would live happily after. Okay, no one's buying that. They didn't even make it to 10 before the demons found them. So their dad would take Bob and Steve away, and Steve would then be placed in some rich-ass white family and would grow up to be a lamer version of Elliot Rogers. At some point, he found out that demons were controlling the world instead of the Illuminati, and decided that despite the fact that they didn't seem to pose any real threat to humanity, and just wanted them to drink a lot of pop, he would start a terrorist organization to take them down. Steve knew he was too weak to actually get anything done himself, however, and would send his groupie Cat to recruit Bob, and would then send him on to do the actually important jobs while Steve watched My Little Pony or some shit. Later, the demons would find them and kill everyone but Bob, Steve, and Cat, who would then be taken hostage. Bob would then kidnap the pregnant girlfriend of the Demon King, and they would exchange hostages, but during the hostage exchange, Steve would shoot the pregnant woman in the... What the fuck is wrong with this guy? Okay, moving on, the remaining terrorists would then siege Mundus's Wall Street building, and after causing the deaths of thousands of innocents, they would slay the Demon King, and they all lived, yet no one's buying that. Steve would turn evil at the last minute for a boss fight, and gets his ass handed to him before teleporting away. And then the game ended on a cliffhanger. But the DLC revealed that Steve died and went to hell, and was manipulated by an albino Super Saiyan into killing the fake versions of Cat and Bob. Called his mother a boomer, then killed the albino Super Saiyan for shits and giggles and became the true albino Super Saiyan and escaped hell, becoming the Demon King. And then the DLC ended on a cliffhanger. Oh, fuck me, am I really doing this? Okay, fine. I'm rating 9 through 2, and for a very special versus series matchup, I'm putting Cindy from the show that just only starting to get good about 7 seasons in, and Steve from the most insulting reboot I've ever played, in a fight to the death. Now, I'm only using the show and the game because, let's be honest, neither of the comics are worth the time to read. Let's just get this over with. Okay, so Cindy is young but older than the protagonist, so I'm just gonna say she's like 23 or some shit. She's about 5'11". Wait, no, she isn't healed, so that means she's like 5'5". Okay, so she's reasonably strong. Like, she overpowered Raven, who's about as strong as her twin, so that's cool. And she performed a double lariat on a specialist who's supposed to be better than, like, I think a standard huntsman and a robot. She once fought on a falling platform and could easily keep up with bullet timers. And she can react to a dude that can stop time. Now, that's from the DVD commentary, but I paid $10 to confirm this feat, so fuck you, I'm using it. She goes out on missions, so she probably has like a decent amount of stamina, but I don't know for sure. Her durability is probably good. I mean, she traded blows with Raven, who's pretty strong in her own right and survived being frozen and dropped into what looked like a bottomless pit without her aura. Steve over here is a Nephilim, which means he's supposed to have some enhanced physical abilities, but between the two of us, he's really pretty standard. He's supposed to have super strength, but the only showing he's had of this is when he pushed Bob and put Hollow Bob through a wall, but that was only because he like got a boost from like this weird angel thing that I don't know how the fuck to explain. Speed-wise, he can deflect bullets with a Maul Katana, and that's about it, to be honest. I can't imagine he has much stamina, as he had to find his brother to do all the legwork for him. Durability-wise, he skills to Bob, who, credit where it's due, took a couple of bullets like a champ, but both were easily incapacitated by chest wounds, and Steve was even killed from being stabbed by Bob. Okay, so, strength. Okay, I got this. So, Cindy's stronger than Raven, right? Okay, and Raven's about as strong as Crow. And Crow is stronger than Winter, who made an even bigger hole herself than Steve did with a boost. So that means that Cindy is stronger than the person, who is way stronger than the person, who's stronger than Steve. Does that make sense to you? Makes sense to me. Okay. So, moving on, Steve is pretty fast, but Cinder is shown to be faster than people with the same level of speed, meaning she could probably outpace him easily. Unlike Steve, Cindy actually goes out and does shit herself, meaning she probably has more stamina, and her durability is least above Steve's. So, yeah, Cindy gets the edge here. Okay, so thanks to her powers, Cindy can pretty much make any weapon she wants. She made spears, knives, swords. She really likes those. She made a bow and arrow once. I think that's it. Oh, no. She can set them on fire and make them explode. Okay, so Steve's weapon is called the Yamato.
The Yamato.
Sorry, the Yamato is a katana given to him by his deadbeat dad. The Yamato is a simple blade that Steve can channel his demonic and angelic abilities through. However, there's no real evidence or lore to suggest that his katana has the same dimension-cutting properties of the Yamato. Okay, so keeping with the theme of not wasting anyone's fucking time, the Yamato is just a sword. That's it. Every extra ability it has comes from Steve's demonic and angelic heritage. Meanwhile, Cindy's magic weapon can take on whatever form she wants, can burst into flames, or explode. She wins here too. Moving on. Okay, so because she's the fall magic chick, Cindy can do just about anything the other magic chicks can do. For example, elemental control, like think Avatar, but like way less cool. She can make explosions, she can fly. I think the old magic chick used some sort of physical buff to avoid being whiskered by Cindy. I don't know, that's just a theory. She deleted Pierre with some magic stuff that we saw God use. What the fuck? She has the same powers as God? Well, fuck. Also, she can make storms and summon lightning, I guess. But she also has an aura, which is like a limited force field that subs damage, and even has her own unique superpower called a semblance. And as the primary antagonist of the series, the superpower the writers decided to give Cindy was the power to warm things up. I'm not even joking, go check the wiki. Okay, so Steve's a Nephilim, which means an angel and a demon banged and he was the result. Because of this, he can use powers others can't, like teleporting behind you, doing a move that cuts his enemy a bunch while he stands there looking smug. His discount Devil Trigger lets him create a real doll doppelganger that will fight for him while he licks his wounds and regenerates, and summon swords. I think that's... Oh, no, wait. He can do stuff like with the swords, like surround his enemy, make them surround him, shoot really slowly for some reason, or push things to where he wants them to be. Okay, now that's it. Fuck. Okay, right, superpowers. So, Steve's summoned swords can't really do anything special and can be easily deflected, so that's not going to be any real help here. Cindy's discount avatar powers that Steve can't really beat. Speaking of discount, Steve's discount devil trigger gives him another person fighting alongside him, but it doesn't seem to boost his physical abilities, provide slightly improving his healing factor. But Cindy can fight multiple people at the same time with no problem, so yeah. His teleportation would actually be really useful if used effectively, but we'll get into that in a minute. But when Cindy uses her force field, her storms, and her Gone disintegration, you know what, fuck it, she wins this category even without that overpowered bullshit. Okay, right, I'm supposed to use lightsaber fighting forms. Okay, yeah, easy enough, let's get to this. Okay, so Cindy over here typically uses 2 swords and the... How the fuck do I pronounce that? A Jar-K? Well, whatever, it's a variation on form 6, I think, which is supposed to be like a diet mixture of all the forms into one. Which, okay, yeah, I can see her using that. As much as I hate to admit it, she actually seems to be pretty good. She's beaten a few really good opponents and even stalemated. In terms of strategy, the bitch has a massive sadist who likes to fuck around with her opponents before getting a kill, which has been shown to bite her in the ass when she fights people who are stronger than her. Okay, so from what his boss fight has shown us, Steve seems to use form 4 Jim-Soo, which, because you usually have to hit him and then like dodge his counter, and countering is kind of what form 4 is all about, but like the dude can teleport, but he can't attack without telegraphing the fuck out of what he's about to do. His only real showing of skill is when he like killed some demon that I'm pretty sure I could beat, and then he killed himself. As for strategy, I'm not convinced he has one. Like, even as his bullshit brother Bob was kicking his ass, he didn't change his tactics at all. He just summoned his real doll counterpart and then tried to do the exact same thing as before. Okay, so this one was thankfully easy, as much as I hate to admit it, Cindy is actually a really good fighter who has taken on several seasoned champions. Immortal wizards with centuries of experience, and even stalemated edgier Vergil for the first half of their fight. Meanwhile, Steve's best showing of fighting abilities was when he beat a version of himself so powered down that he beat it while suffering from a mortal injury and without his discount devil trigger. While Cindy isn't the brightest tool in the shed, half of his strategy is better than none. Cindy's the better fighter. Steve is fucked. Moving on. Do I have to do this? Okay, fine, just let me get a drink. Let's say that Steve showed up to Salem's castle trying to do his whole demon kimmy thing. And instead of dealing with him herself, Salem just tells Cindy to deal with it because she has a worse hangover than I'm gonna have in the morning. Okay, so Cindy tries to shoot a fireball, but Steve teleports behind her and tries to stab her in the wound. But Cindy's aura stops this, and she just backhands him into a wall. Steve gets up and throws his summoned swords at her, but she just deflects them and jumps at him. Steve is actually able to defend himself for a bit and is about to get in a counterattack, and probably would have hit her if he didn't take forever swinging his blade. So Cindy cuts his hand off Darth Vader style and he starts screaming in pain like any normal dude would. Steve then summons his demons while he activates his discount devil trigger, and Cindy incinerates the demons in an instant while the 2 Steves attack from both sides. Once again, Cindy has half a moment of trouble fending these 2 off and loses her grim arm as a result. However, she immediately throws a shit fist and stabs Steve in the chest, resulting in him needing to regenerate. However, Cindy heals much faster and goes after the doppelganger, tanking it right out. Steve tries to get up, but is too weak to fight properly, and Cindy realizes that... And Cindy easily takes his Maul Katana and with her bare hand snaps it in 2. Realizing he's fucked, Steve tries to teleport away, but the fall magic chick grabs him with her wacky inflatable arm and starts to slowly disembowel him with her fire blade. Cindy wins. You can sip to the next time now. Okay, so the fact of the matter is that Steve was never going to win this fight. And no, that's not because I hate him. Because believe it or not, I hate Cinder even more. No, the reason he lost is that he's just such a fuck. You know, this happens way more than you think. Like, literally every jump cut is just because I fucked up the sentence. I literally can't read a single sentence without having to restart. You know what, fuck it, I'm leaving this in just so you guys know what I go through to make this shit for you. Believe it or not, I hate Cinder even more. No, the reason he lost is because he is so outclassed that it wouldn't matter even if he was a good fighter or strategist. He cannot compete with Cindy in any way whatsoever. If you don't believe me, tough shit. I'm ranked 9th or 2 and I'm about to go work on the real matchup. Good night.
If you're going to shoot me, shoot me. That was insulting.
What are you doing here?
I could ask you the same thing. You've been scheming, little brother. Planning to attack your own sister.
Leo, what have you done?
Leo did what any sane person would in his position. He looked at all the information he had in front of him, assessed the situation, and made a choice. And it seems you all have too.
Foolishness, Dante. Foolishness. Might controls everything. And without strength, you cannot protect anything. Let alone yourself.